The waitress had just rejected a $1,000 tip when the little girl beside her whispered, "Please don't tell my dad you know who he really is." Emma froze. She looked across the restaurant. The quiet man sitting alone in the corner was wearing a faded jacket, driving an old pickup truck, and pretending to be just another struggling single father. But Emma had just discovered the truth. He wasn't broke. He was the millionaire owner of one of the biggest technology companies in America, and there was something even stranger. He hadn't been hiding his money to trick women. He was hiding it because the last woman who loved him had taken everything and left his daughter with a broken heart. But Emma was about to become the one person who saw through his disguise. And when his secret finally exploded in front of everyone, she would have to decide whether she loved the man or the fortune behind him. Ryan Carter checked the clock. 7:12 p.m. He was already 12 minutes late, not because of traffic, because he'd spent 20 minutes staring at himself in the mirror wondering whether the faded blue jacket made him look poor enough. He hated the thought. But he hated what happened when women discovered he was rich even more. Ryan owned Carter Technologies. The company was worth nearly $900 million. Yet tonight, he was sitting inside a small neighborhood restaurant wearing a thrift store jacket and an old watch. He was waiting for blind date number 11. The door opened. A beautiful woman walked inside. She looked around. Her eyes landed on Ryan. She smiled. Then she looked at his jacket. The smile disappeared. "Ryan." "Yes." She glanced at the empty table. "You said you were successful." "I am." "What do you do?" "Technology." "How successful?" Ryan hesitated. "I do okay." She stood. "I don't think we're a match." "That's okay." She picked up her purse. "Good luck." 47 seconds, she was gone. Ryan stared at the door, then he laughed bitterly. "Another one." A soft voice came from behind him. "That's a terrible way to measure your love life." Ryan turned. A waitress stood there holding a coffee pot. Her name tag said Emma. Ryan smiled. "Apparently, I'm getting pretty good at it." Emma poured his coffee. "You should try being yourself." "I did." She raised an eyebrow. "No." Ryan looked at her. "You have no idea who I am." Emma smiled. "Neither do you." Then she walked away. Ryan watched her go, for the first time all evening. He forgot about the woman who had just rejected him. The next morning, Ryan dropped his daughter at school. Lily was 8 years old. She had her mother's eyes, and Ryan couldn't look at her sometimes without remembering everything he'd lost. "Daddy." "Yes, did you meet someone last night?" Ryan smiled. "How do you know?" "You came home sad." Ryan looked at her through the rearview mirror. "I'll be okay." Lily shook her head. "You always say that." Ryan laughed. "Because it's true." She was quiet for a moment, then she asked, "Do you think someone could love us without knowing you're rich?" Ryan's hands tightened around the steering wheel. "I hope so." Lily looked out the window. "Me too." Ryan didn't know that someone had already entered his life. A waitress named Emma. Ryan returned to the restaurant 2 days later. Emma looked surprised. "Back again." "Your coffee is good." She laughed. "You're here for coffee." "Maybe." Emma put down his cup. "Then you should know something." "What?" "You're a terrible liar." Ryan nearly choked. "Excuse me." "You said you're a photographer." Ryan froze. "I am." Emma looked at his hands. "Then why do you have executive calluses?" Ryan stared at her. "What are executive calluses?" "None." She laughed. "I'm teasing you." Ryan smiled. Emma was different. She never asked what car he drove. She never asked where he lived. She never asked how much he earned. One afternoon, Ryan accidentally left his expensive business card on the table. Emma picked it up. She could have searched the name. Instead, she simply placed it beside his coffee. "You dropped this." "You didn't look." "No." "Why?" Emma shrugged. "If you wanted me to know, you'd tell me." Ryan stared at her. That sentence stayed with him. One rainy afternoon, Lily ran into the restaurant. "Daddy." Ryan turned. "What are you doing here?" "I forgot my art folder." Emma walked over. "You must be Lily." Lily smiled. "How do you know my name?" "Your dad talks about you constantly." Lily looked at Ryan. "You do." Ryan smiled. "Maybe." Emma noticed Lily's wet shoes. "Come here." She grabbed a towel. "Your feet are freezing." Lily laughed. Then she noticed something behind the counter. "A small cupcake. Is that yours?" Emma shook her head. "No." "Can I have it?" Emma looked at Ryan. Ryan nodded. Emma handed it to her. Lily took one bite. Her eyes widened. This is amazing. Emma smiled. Secret recipe. Lily leaned closer. Can you teach me? Emma laughed. Deal. Ryan watched them. Something inside him shifted. Lily hadn't smiled like that around a stranger in a long time. Ryan eventually learned Emma had problems of her own. Her father owned the restaurant. The business was drowning in debt. Her younger brother needed tuition, and her mother had recently lost her job, yet Emma never complained. One night, Ryan found her counting money behind the counter. Everything okay? She quickly closed the drawer. Fine. Emma, she smiled, it's just bills. How much? She immediately shook her head. No. I can help. No. Why? Because I don't need a stranger rescuing me. Ryan looked at her. You don't even know what I was going to offer. I know the look. What look? The look people get when they think money can solve someone else's problems. Ryan went silent. She had no idea how true that was. Ryan decided to do something dangerous. He wanted to know whether Emma would love him if she believed he had nothing. So he invited her to dinner, not at an expensive restaurant, at a tiny pizza shop. He arrived in his old pickup. Emma smiled. This is your truck. Yeah, I like it. Really? It's ugly. Ryan laughed, but comfortable. They talked for 3 hours. No money, no business, no status, just stories. At the end of the night, Emma said, You know what I like about you. Ryan smiled. What? You don't try to impress me. Ryan looked away, because that was the biggest lie he'd ever told. The next week, Emma found Lily crying outside the restaurant. What happened? Lily wiped her eyes. Daddy's going to leave. Emma froze. What? He's going away for work. Emma knelt. Your dad wouldn't leave you. Lily shook her head. He says he's going to be gone for 2 weeks. Emma hugged her. I'll stay with you until he comes back. Lily looked at her. You promise? I promise. That evening Ryan returned, but Emma wasn't behind the counter. She was sitting with Lily. Ryan smiled, then he saw something. Lily had fallen asleep with her head on Emma's shoulder. Ryan stood frozen. He hadn't seen his daughter trust someone like that since Claire died. Emma looked up. I hope this is okay. Ryan nodded. It is. He didn't know it yet, but this was the moment he stopped thinking about Emma as someone he was testing. He started thinking about her as family. The secret didn't come out because Ryan confessed. It came out because someone else exposed him. A black SUV pulled up outside the restaurant, then another. Emma looked through the window. Several men in suits entered. Mr. Carter. Ryan stood. Not here. One of them lowered his voice. The board needs you immediately. Emma stared at Ryan. Mr. Carter. Ryan's face went pale. The manager looked confused. Wait. One employee grabbed his phone. That's him. Within seconds, everyone was staring. Someone whispered, That's Ryan Carter. Another person searched his name. Ryan Carter, $900 million technology founder. Emma slowly turned toward him. You're a millionaire. Ryan nodded. Emma, please. You told me you were a photographer. I was scared. You lied. I wanted to know if you... Emma stopped him. If I wanted your money. Ryan said nothing. Her eyes filled with tears. You never trusted me enough to let me choose. She walked away. Ryan didn't stop her. Because she was right. That night Lily found Ryan sitting alone. Daddy. Ryan looked up. She knows. I know. Is she leaving? Ryan couldn't answer. Lily sat beside him. Did you tell her why? No. Why? Because I was afraid. Lily looked at him. Mommy used to say being scared isn't an excuse to hurt people. Ryan closed his eyes. Claire had said those exact words. Then Lily whispered, Go tell Emma the truth. Ryan stood. Where? Lily smiled. The restaurant. Ryan stood. Where? Lily smiled. The restaurant. Ryan found Emma outside the restaurant. I came to apologize. Emma didn't look at him. You should. I lied. Yes, I shouldn't have tested you. No, I was afraid. Emma finally looked at him. Of what? That you'd love my money instead of me. Emma shook her head. You know what hurts. What? I would have loved you anyway. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. Emma continued. But you didn't give me the chance. Silence. Then Lily stepped out from behind Ryan. Emma. Emma's face softened. Lily walked toward her. I don't care if Daddy is rich. Emma smiled through tears. Neither do I. Lily reached for her hand. Then don't leave. Emma looked at Ryan. Ryan whispered, please. Emma took Lily's hand. I won't. Ryan closed his eyes. The test was over, and Emma had passed it without ever knowing there was one. But the story wasn't over. 2 weeks later, Ryan's company was attacked by a massive financial scandal. Fake documents were released. Investors panicked. The stock crashed. Reporters surrounded Ryan's home. His board demanded his resignation. For the first time, Ryan's money couldn't fix everything. He walked into the restaurant late one night. Emma was cleaning tables. She looked at him. What happened? I might lose the company. Emma put down the cloth. Are you okay? No. She walked over, then sit. Ryan sat. Emma placed a cup of coffee in front of him. No advice. No. Why? Because sometimes people don't need advice. She sat beside him. They just need someone to stay. Ryan looked at her and finally understood. He hadn't needed a woman who would love his fortune. He needed someone who would stay when his fortune couldn't save him. 3 months later, Ryan proved the scandal was a fraud. The real criminals were arrested. His company recovered, and Ryan did something he'd never done before. He gave an interview. A reporter asked, "Why did you hide your wealth for so long?" Ryan smiled, "Because I thought money was the reason people loved me. And now I know the right person doesn't care what you have." The reporter asked, "Who taught you that?" Ryan looked toward Emma sitting behind the cameras. "A waitress." The room laughed. Emma smiled. Ryan continued, "She taught me something money never could." "What?" "That being loved isn't about being impressive. It's about being honest." 6 months later, Lily's school held its annual art show. Ryan arrived wearing a simple dark jacket. Emma came beside him. Lily ran toward them. "Come see mine." They followed her. On the wall was a painting. 3 people standing beneath a huge yellow sun. Ryan smiled. "Who's that?" Lily pointed. "That's Daddy." Then Emma. "That's Emma." Then herself. "And that's me." Emma's eyes filled with tears. A teacher walked over. "This is my favorite painting this year." Ryan smiled. "Why?" The teacher looked at Lily. "Because she drew a family." Ryan looked at Emma. Emma looked back at him. Neither said anything. They didn't need to. That evening, Ryan took Emma back to the restaurant where they first met. The tables were empty. The lights were warm. Emma smiled. "Why are we here?" Ryan took her hand. "Because this is where I met the woman who changed my life." Emma laughed. "I only gave you coffee. You gave me something much bigger." "What?" "A reason to stop hiding." Ryan reached into his pocket. Emma's eyes widened. "Ryan." He opened a small velvet box. Inside was a simple diamond ring. "I spent years thinking my fortune was the greatest thing I'd ever built." He looked toward the door. "But then Lily met you." His voice trembled. "And suddenly, everything I built before seemed less important." Emma wiped away a tear. "You saw my daughter before you saw my money. You stayed when you thought I had nothing. And when you discovered I had everything." He smiled. "You still chose us." Ryan dropped to one knee. "Emma Hayes, will you marry me?" Emma covered her mouth. Then she laughed through tears. "Yes." Ryan smiled. "Yes. Yes." She pulled him up and hugged him. Then a tiny voice came from the doorway. "Does this mean she's officially my mom now?" They turned. Lily was standing there. Emma laughed. "Only if you want me to be." Lily ran into her arms. "I've been waiting." Ryan wrapped both of them in a hug. And for the first time since Claire died, his home didn't feel empty. It felt complete. Ryan Carter spent years believing his fortune was the reason people left, so he hid it. He dressed like a regular man, drove an old truck, and tested everyone who came into his life. But the woman who changed everything never cared about the millionaire behind the disguise. She cared about the father, the lonely man, the person who carried his daughter's drawings in his wallet, the man who was terrified of losing another person he loved. Emma didn't choose Ryan because he was worth $900 million. She chose him when she thought he had nothing. And when she finally learned he had everything, she chose him anyway. Because sometimes the greatest fortune isn't what's sitting in your bank account. It's the person sitting beside you when the money no longer matters. And that was the first time Ryan Carter finally understood what it meant to be rich. He understood what it meant to be rich.